Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome back. So, today we will discuss in a monetary system in a modern day economy, any society, any economy, say in India for instance. See, monetary system has lot of apparatus, lot of phenomena, lot of tools and features, properties are there. We will not discuss most of them in details, but we will give broader concepts like what is money, okay, how a banking system or banks play an important role in money supply, and all those things we will selectively certain concepts we will introduce today in this course. Okay. So, first let us say you know that what is money. Okay. If I tell money, okay, some sort of picture will come immediately, will appear in your mind, right, all of us, our mind, right. So, we know what is money, but in economics if we want to define what is money, what the role it plays, okay, and different kinds of money, what could be there in a society and all that we will slowly introduce here. Okay. So, first let us introduce what is money. Okay, money. Okay. See, you know that barter system, right, perhaps all of you heard about this barter system. What is that? Where a transaction of goods and services were happening in terms of kind. Okay. By kind what I am referring, okay, say barter system usually or whatever we heard about this barter system, no, it was there in maybe 200 years, 300 years ago in some society, and that system has certain problem, okay, and eventually that system has been replaced or abandoned and has been replaced by money. Okay. So, money actually came the way history or popular history we know about the introduction of money, how money came into the picture. Okay. Initially it was barter system and then money came into the place to replace that barter system. So, what is barter system? Barter system basically say, suppose I am a farmer, okay, I am producing rice, okay. Now, I want to purchase say wheat from the market, okay, or I want to get wheat in exchange of the product what I produce, rice, okay. See, so I have to go to the market and I have to find a person not only who is willing to accept or who is looking for purchasing rice from me, but I have to find out, I have to fulfill another criteria. I have to find out one potential purchaser of rice who wants to or who have only wheat in return of getting rice, who can give. Okay. So, because that is called in barter system, that is called double coincidence of want, double coincidence of want. Okay. What is that? If I want, say I am producing rice, I want to get wheat in exchange of rice. So, I have to find one person who has wheat, who is willing to exchange wheat. Not only that, in exchanging wheat, who is willing to accept rice. So, that is called double coincidence of want. It is not that I am finding a customer who is willing to get or accept my commodity. I have to even find the some selected customers within from themselves who has only that commodity which I am looking for in exchange of my commodity. That is called double coincidence of want. Both way want, I have some want, that other person is also having some want. Okay. So, both way want should match. So, you can understand that this double coincidence of want is a very restrictive kind of criteria to be fulfilled. and as a result lot of profitable or mutually beneficial transaction possibilities were lost in the market. How? Say I have rice, I want to get wheat, there are 5 people are there who are looking for exchanging their wheat, but none of them are looking for exchanging their wheat to get rice. So, although people are there who has wheat, who is also willing to sell wheat, okay, but I do not find any customer because I am not looking for the commodity what they have. Okay. So, that double coincidence of want actually reduce the transaction to happen in the real life, okay, and as a result it curtains the transaction possibility. You know that that tax system or imposition of tax by the government or any authority of any country or any society, you understand that if tax is imposed there is a deadweight loss, and we have discussed that deadweight loss, right, like say this kind of thing, this is demand, this is demand curve, this is supply curve, right, and government is imposing tax this much quantity per unit of commodities transaction, okay, unit tax or quantity tax, right. So, this is the total tax revenue, because after the imposition of the tax this is the quantity of transaction happening in the market, okay, and this is this red color triangular area, that is called deadweight loss, that is the burden to the society, because that kind of surplus which could be generated within the society if tax is not imposed, but after the imposition of the tax this kind of social welfare loss is there in the society. Okay. And if you we have also clarified that from where this loss is coming, within this segment the people who are there, whole lot of customers are there whose willingness to pay is more than the whole lot of sellers are there what is their willingness to accept. So, in this particular point the seller has willingness to pay accept this much only, but the customer who is standing there, he or she has, so this green color distance is this willingness to accept by the seller of that commodity, and this blue color distance is actually willingness to pay by the potential customer. Okay. So, there is a possibility of beneficial transaction for both the parties, both customers and sellers, okay, but still that transaction is not happening due to imposition of the tax, okay, and that is the source of deadweight loss, which is the loss of the social welfare altogether, right. So, since barter system is responsible to reduce the effective transaction or profitable transaction, mutually beneficial transaction possibilities are curtailed due to barter system, eventually it is abandoned and some universally acceptable kind of instrument came into the picture called money. Okay. And you also understand you have to find this barter system, no, you have to that due to fulfilling the double coincidence of want, no, lot of or considerable amount of time also is lost in searching for mutually matching double coincidence of want matching kind of customers and sellers. Okay. So, that kind of substantial time is also lost in the process, okay. Because of this kinds of drawbacks attached with barter system, it is eventually abandoned and money is introduced in place of barter system. So, what is money? Money is an instrument, okay, which is universally acceptable within any society or within any country. Okay, in India, okay, some currency notes, paper notes or some metal coins are there, okay, and usually released by some government authority, maybe directly some central government or maybe some organization, government assigned organization like in India Central Bank, Reserve Bank of India, okay, they issue the currency notes and all those things. Okay. When I am telling universally acceptable, what is that? If you have a 10 rupee note with you, you look at what is written on that note, paper currency note, it is written that Reserve Bank of India is guaranteeing or something of this thing of this sort, it is written there, Reserve Bank of India is guaranteeing to provide Indian rupees 10 equivalent to the person who will carry this note. That means what? That means that paper note, paper currency or on printed paper, right, apparently that paper does not have any value, but government, or in this particular case Reserve Bank of India, imputed some value on that, and everybody is guaranteed by that organization that if I have one note of that thing, I can get 10 rupees equivalent anything from anybody, or within this country anybody is willing to accept that thing if I want to go there, okay, and I want to go to get some commodity or service in exchange of that note, everybody is willing to accept. At least third party, in this particular case Reserve Bank of India is becoming a guarantor to be, okay, in this particular case, right. So, that way some universally acceptable instrument is introduced in a society, in an economy, okay, and what we need not fulfill the double constituents of want. I am producing rice, I will sell that in the market and I will get some money, and using that money whatever I want, whether wheat, whether bread, whether cloth, whether say egg or some other items, whatever I want I can purchase equivalent amount of that money, right. So, you can understand that by the introduction of this money, okay, the transaction possibilities and all these things becomes more smooth, and the amount of time lost was there in the process, okay, to complete or to fulfill this double constituents one clause, okay, that time is substantially amount of time is saved now due to introduction of this money, okay. So, we will discuss a modern monetary system, and all of you know what is money. We just gave a brief introduction or background of barter system and how money came into the picture in the economy, okay. Now, what is money? Money, so we will discuss, so money we told it is an universally acceptable instrument that facilitate transaction, okay, that facilitate transaction, and anybody within that country can utilize that instrument, that money, to purchase anything, to participate in any sort of transaction, okay, using that, that is the money. Now, types of money. Types of money, okay, different types of money, how are those? So, broadly two types of money are there, one is called say fiat money and another is called commodity money. What is commodity money? Commodity money is basically money or this kinds of some instrument which has some intrinsic value. In that way, I can give an example that metal coins, right, whatever we have, any coin is produced of some metal, no, either nickel or cobalt or some steel, maybe some of that sort of some metal, okay. Now, suppose that coin, it is printed on that coin that it is rupees 5, okay, 5 rupees coin, right. So, even if tomorrow like demonetization, no, sometimes back 2-3 years back some demonetization happens by the central government, okay. So, even if say by that kind of demonetization kind of decree, if government comes tomorrow or in future that there is no valuation of this this coin, okay, like that 500 rupee note earlier before the demonetization happened, right, earlier some old 500 rupee note was there, right. So, after demonetization government told that this money will no longer be valid in the country, okay. So, whatever valuation before that demonetization it was one currency, paper currency has 500 rupees valuation, it becomes 0, completely useless or worthless after that demonetization date, okay. So, exactly that way if government can come with some decree that tomorrow onwards this 5 rupees coin will not have any valuation, at least you can melt or that metal what this coin is made up of, right, that metal you can sell, that metal has some value, right. So, that kind of money who has some intrinsic value is called commodity money. Old days, in historical days, no, sometimes it was that silver or gold coin also, right. You know that gold and silver, these are precious metals. So, even if say we are inputting, government is imposing some valuation on say 100 rupee coin or something like that, even if that valuation is withdrawn by the government decree like demonetization, at least that metal has some valuation in the market, right. So, you can get that valuation by transacting the amount of metal, okay, whatever is there. So, that kind of money is called commodity money, which has some intrinsic value. In fact, in during say Second World War, no, that prisoners, war prisoners, they used to engage into transaction inside the prison, right, using cigarette, okay, cigarette as if it's a commodity money kind of thing, right. So, all the people inside the prison, right, even if some person is there who is not smoker, right, he was quite confident that I can utilize this cigarette to purchase or to get something else from someone else. Okay. So, sometimes cigarette sometimes passed during the Second World War, what I am referring, it is there in your book, that story you can read, okay, beautiful story is there. So, cigarette was used as commodity money inside the prison by the prisoners, okay, they use that. Okay. So, commodity money, it has some intrinsic value on its own. Mostly in the modern day, what you people are familiar with different monies, right, definitely maybe metal coin, maybe some sort of commodity money. What is fiat money? Fiat money is that money which does not have any intrinsic value as such, like the paper currency. Yesterday it was 500 rupee valuation, today there is nothing because of demonetization by the government or the authority of that country. Okay. So, this kinds of note or this kind of money is called fiat money, which does not have any valuation, and whatever valuation it carries, that is due to some imposed valuation by the government or by the authority of that country or of that society. Okay. That is called fiat money. So, and on commodity money has a problem, has an intrinsic problem. Let me discuss here why fiat money is more, what should I say, maybe preferred. Commodity money, look at, as we told, right, that metal has some valuation, right. So, what will happen, look at here, one say metal coin, right. So, you will see that if you have say one 10 paisa or 5 paisa metal coins, right, you will see that, and every coins, no, the year when it was printed or when it was made, that year is it is written on that coin. So, if you see that 10 paisa or 5 paisa, many of you may not see at all, but if you have that thing, I think your father or in your home maybe that kind of coins are there, you will see that maybe 1950s, 1960s, sometimes that it is printed. So, we can assume that when it was printed, that time that valuation of the metal out of which that 5 paisa coin is made up, right, that time market valuation of that metal may be equivalent to 5 paisa. Now, because price has increased, now if you use that coin, still it is 5 paisa valuation in the market. Alternatively, if you melt down that to get metal, perhaps its valuation is much more than 5 paisa. Okay. So, actually that melting of coins, no, it is an illegal offence. Okay. So, means I think 10-20 years back, 10-12 years back, there was a illegal racket busted by the security agencies in some northern states, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, that kind of some pocket was there, where people were melting that this old kind of coins to extract the metal to sell those in the more valuation amount of metal in the market. Okay. So, definitely it is a law and order problem, it is an legal, it is an offence, it is a crime, right. So, commodity money has that kind of feature which attracts, which may attract this kind of criminal activity, but fiat money does not have, because it does not have any apparent intrinsic value, right. So, these are the two types of money. Now, let us discuss what are the functions of money. Functions of money. Money performs broadly 3 functions. Let us discuss one by one each of them. First, medium of exchange. Medium of exchange. So, you can understand by medium of exchange what we refer, what we told, why the money is introduced in order to avoid the stringent requirement of double constituents of want attached with the barter system, right. So, money is introduced is to facilitate more and more transaction, that is why medium of exchange, people are using this as an instrument which facilitate exchange of goods and services in an economy, right. So, money plays that role. So, that is why function of money, what kind of function money works or money does, that one is that medium of exchange, it helps facilitation of transaction of goods and services, right. Second is the store of value, okay. Some wealth, right, what I may have, you may have, right, sometimes we store that in monetary terms, right. Say suppose I am a farmer, right, I produce rice, right. So, that rice, it is a valuable some commodity, right. So, I can store rice to preserve my value, but do most of the people do that? No. What they do, they perhaps they will sell that, whatever they will keep some amount to maintain their family, okay, some amount they will keep for their own consumption, own family consumption, but remaining thing they will sell in the market, right, and they will keep that valuation in terms of money, okay. Why they do that? Because that other commodities, maybe rice or maybe whatever commodities, that every commodity has some lifetime, right. Rice and others, it may be lifetime little bit less, some say maybe some consumer durables, it lifetime is little bit more, longer period of time, but after all it has some lifetime, right. But money in that way you can preserve, it has a huge lifetime, even if you have say one paper currency which is little bit tear up, there is a formal procedure, you can go to the bank and you can deposit that, okay, they will give the equivalent same amount of money without any deduction, okay. So, that kind of thing. So, it will help, it acts as an instrument where people can store the valuation. So, that is why it is called store of value, okay. And another is that unit of account. What is that? Everything, price or valuation, whatever, we use by default this in monetary units to measure that account. Let me give an example. Say suppose in the what is the market price today, maybe one piece of shirt is equivalent to 10 kg of rice, suppose. So, when you are visiting a shop, right, which cloth shop or garment shop, what they are telling? They are telling that this shirt price is that much of money, not equivalent to 10 kg of rice or something like that, right. So, that is the thing. So, unit of account, so account or measurement account, right, money is utilized as the unit of that, okay, and that is for any commodity, any services. The maid who is coming to your home to perhaps help your mother for household activities, right, they are also claiming that maybe per day I will charge say 500 rupee or something like that, no, all in terms of, I am telling this maid example because to introduce some service transaction, okay. So, whether it is a commodity transaction or whether it is a service transaction, all that transaction, whatever its valuation unit, that is in monetary terms, okay. So, this money, so what we mentioned here, it plays three broader role in an economy, okay, medium of exchange, unit of measurement and store of value, okay, unit of account or unit of measurement and store of value, okay. So, these are the what is money and what is its role and what is the thing, right. Now, in a modern system, okay, actually in an economy, okay, there is some demand for money and there is some supply of money, okay. So, there is a very classical theory of quantity theory of money, quantity theory of money is there, quantity theory of money, this is an old theory or classical theory, it is sometimes referred, right, and there is an equation that is called quantity equation of money. So, that equation needs to be satisfied to make in the balance of money demand and supply within any economy. that equation is called this way, m times v equals to p times y. I am coming which of these, which of m v what they refers to, each of them refers to. Okay. So, this is the equation to make money market identity or money market equilibrium, something like that. Of course, this is, we are just symbolically we are introducing here to familiarize with you that like any other, like say when we discuss that commodity market, right, there is an equilibrium, there is a demand curve for that commodity, there is a market demand curve, there is a market supply curve of that commodity, and there is an equilibrium in that particular commodity market and so on, right, and that is true for each of the commodities and services. Okay. Exactly that way in monetary sense or money, there is an equilibrium kind of thing. So, this side is actually supply of money and this side is actually demand for money. Okay. So, this is supply side and this is demand side. Why this is supply side and why it is demand side, once I introduce each of these components you will understand, but this is we just introduced to familiarize yourself how money market equilibrium looks like and how this or what this equation actually carries. Okay. But there are a lot of other modern theories are there. Keynes have certain money demand theories, demand for money, and certain different kinds of concepts like transaction demand for money, speculative demand for money, and all the or the precautionary demand for money, and so many other things are there, right. So, those are we are not discussing or we are not keeping that as a part of this syllabus of this particular course, but if you are interested and you are going for some advanced level macroeconomics course, right, those things are there. Okay. So, why this is supply, I am telling this M is basically amount M, amount of money or currency, currency what is in circulation of any country or any economy, within an economy. Okay. And V, it is called velocity of circulation. Velocity of circulation. What is that velocity of circulation? Say suppose let me give an example. Suppose within a time point, say maybe one day, okay, one particular unit of money, how much different valuation of activities it performs. Let me give an example. Suppose I have a 10 rupee note. Okay. I am spending that 10 rupee note, using that 10 rupee note to purchase some pen from the market. That same 10 rupee note, the owner of that shop to whom I give that 10 rupee note to purchase that pen, he is using that to purchase say some food items from the market. He is giving say milk he is purchasing from the market, right. So, he is giving that to the milk owner. Now, who is getting that 10 rupee note from this particular shop owner to sell his milk, he is using that 10 rupee note to purchase something else. So, in that way, suppose in a day on unit time, maybe 1 day, 1 week, maybe 1 month or 1 year, something like that. Okay. So, unit time, within a unit time period, how many times one currency note is transacting or it changing the hands of different people. As many it is changing the hands of different people, that much valuation of transaction it is actually facilitating, right. So, that is why it is called velocity of circulation, how fast it is circulating within the different members of the economy. Okay. So, no, see this thing, no, so same 10 rupee note within a day, I am using that to purchase a pen, I am giving to the shop owner using that to purchase milk from the milk owner. Okay. He is giving the 10 rupee to milk owner is purchasing some rice from the rice shop, he is also giving. So, if that happens within the 1 year or one particular day, so one 10 rupee note actually facilitating 30 rupees transaction. Okay. Each 10 rupee note in this way facilitating 30 rupees transaction, right, because one 10 rupee for pen, another 10 rupee for some milk transaction, another 10 rupee for some rice transaction, right. So, this 3 is called velocity of circulation in this particular example. Okay. So, you can understand that actually this is this M into V some sort of supply side of the money, because why? Because one 10 rupee note, but it is actually performing the activity or transaction of 30 rupees. Okay. So, as if that 30 rupees equivalent of money is in supply within that society. Okay. If the velocity of circulation is 3, okay, in this particular example it is 3. Okay. So, that is the supply side of this equation, and P what is P? P is the overall price level, Okay. You know that we have discussed that said GDP deflator of a country, that is some sort of price index to capture the overall price level for all the possible goods and services whatever is produced within that country, right, within that economy. So, that kind of things, that is the overall price level on an average, what is the price level of the all the goods and services, entire commodity and services basket within that country, that is the price level P. Okay. And Y is the income of that country, income of that economy, income of the economy, overall economy, not it is my income, your income, like GDP, entire country's income, income of the entire country level income, right. So, you can understand P times Y, okay, that is the demand for money, because this much Y amount of total commodities and services are produced within the country, and P is the overall price level. That means, for successful or smooth transaction of all these commodities and services what have been produced within that society, to facilitate transaction of those goods and services, you need P times Y amount of money. Okay. So, that is why we are telling that this left hand side supply side kind of thing we can think of, right hand side demand side of the thing we can think of, and both supply side and demand side for money, and this is called quantity equation of the money supply. Let us stop here, okay, and now we will discuss up next lecture that how this money supply and all is determined within a modern economy, modern system, and how the bank plays an important role in money supply and all, or creating money supply and all. Let us stop here.